Hey everybody, so today I'm here using my Pampered Chef tools and I'm going to show you how to make just a quick guacamole using some of our great gadgets and tools. All right, so first I have my chef's knife. This to me is wonderful for doing some major cutting. I'm just going to start out with 2 avocados. Now these were ripe, but probably not as ripe as I would really like. And as you see, what I'm doing is I just cut all the way around and twisted, and when I did, my avocado came apart. To get the seed out, which was pretty easy, just put my knife in it and it came right out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and peel it, just because I didn't bring a spoon over here, but honestly, you could just scoop it out with a spoon at this point, which would make it a whole lot easier than what I'm having to do. But I'm going to use my simple slicer to cut the avocado into slices before I put it into my classic batter bowl, because the idea is that I want to have a chunkier guacamole. I'm not a real fan of the one that looks like baby food. That one's just not as appealing to me. Actually, hang on just a second. I'm going to grab that spoon. All right, never be without a spoon whenever you're cooking, right? Or in this case, whenever you are trying to get an avocado out of the skin, because it's just so much easier even whenever you do it wrong like I just did. But the peeling just comes right off typically. Like I said, it would work a lot better if the avocado was completely ripe, and this one's a little bit on the underripe side. But that's okay, because we're going to add lots of stuff to it and make it delicious anyway. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and, even though I'm going to add 2 avocados to my recipe, I am going to, just for the sake of time, only cut 1 for now. But for the recipe itself, I'll show you that I'll be doing 2. All right, so you just simply put it in the slicer and bear down, and you see that it's nice and sliced. And then it comes right up. Isn't that cool? It comes right up, and I can take it straight to my classic batter bowl, which I love. And you see that it comes apart very nicely. Now for a salad, this would be a great place to stop, because I mean, you can definitely do avocado slices in a salad, would be great. The latest thing that I've seen, and I haven't tried it yet because I'm not a big fryer, but I love the idea of maybe battering avocado and frying it, but not today. Today I'm working on a healthier way of using avocado, which is guacamole. Now we'll come back and smooth that out a little bit, but like I said, for now, and the sake of time, I'm not going to. Now I like to go ahead and do my lime over my avocado so that it doesn't start to brown. It gets really gross. And I did throw away the first seed of the avocado, but one trick that I learned years ago was to include the seed. Once you finished your guacamole, you mix it up really good, take one of the seeds of the avocado and leave it in with the guacamole. And believe it or not, that keeps it from turning that icky brown color. Now, my lime was just a little on the hard side, so you see that I'm rolling it back and forth. I actually popped it in the microwave for a few seconds, and what that does is it gets the juice really going inside the lime. And you do need the juice. Did you see how that juice come out? So it definitely works. I'm using my juicer, and I'm just going to juice 1 full lime for this recipe, which I don't know about you, but I love lime. It's one of my favorite citrus fruits. I put it in my Diet Coke. I put it in my water. I love it. I just think it's a very refreshing, and it's different to me from lemon, which so many people like too, but I don't know. I like the tartness of the lime as opposed to that sour of the lemon. Anyway, so you see that I'm getting a lot of juice out of this lime because I popped it in the microwave, and unfortunately I'm missing some of the juice that's on my cutting mat because it was so juicy after working on it. So anyway, now I have the option to pour or strain because that's what's on the top of my juicer. So I am choosing right now to strain this just in case some of that pulp got in to the strainer. I don't want the pulp in there. So I'm just going to pour that over my avocado. And I'm going to use my spoon just to make sure that it's stirred up nicely and it's all well coated so that it doesn't turn that icky brown color like I was talking about, because that's just, it's just gross to me. I don't know. Can't think of any brown food other than chocolate. Probably just me thinking right now. Anyway, let me wipe off my board just a little bit where I got so much lime juice. Again, it seems such a shame to have to put all that to waste. My goodness. But I'm going to need my knife again in just a few minutes. All right, so here I have some grape tomatoes. And grape tomatoes are often considered candy. They're so delicious. But I had several folks who said, hey, tell me about that knife, that coated utility knife. You said that whenever you poke a tomato, you want to find out if your knife is sharp enough. I want you to just see how I'm barely poking at my tomato and it's going right in. All right, so I like to take these tomatoes and I quarter them, and then I can cut them in even smaller. But I just want you to see how easy this coated knife is going through the tomato. And like I said, these are such good little tomatoes. I love them. I'm just going to throw them in. I'm going to use about 6 of these. Now, this of course is to taste, and I'm just showing you different ways. This time I sliced it instead of quartering it. Again, you can get pretty nice even cuts if you want them. I didn't do such a great job, but you certainly can. So either way works great. It's a great handy little knife just to have in your kitchen for all-purpose kinds of things. I personally like having a good knife around most of the time. Whenever I go to grab a knife, at least before I started Pampered Chef, I had my one go-to knife, and it was a different brand, a well-known brand, a national brand of knives, and it's a very, very good knife. There's no doubt about it. Very, very good. But I love my Pampered Chef. I love the fact that I don't have to worry about it. I can put it in a dishwasher, which I think is fabulous, because the worst part of cooking to me is the cleanup. And so if I can stick it all in the dishwasher, then I am one happy cook. And when I was growing up, there was always somebody around, my brother, my sister, my mom, somebody who was around to do the cleanup for me. And now there aren't so many people in the house. My daughter works. She's a wonderful hairstylist, and my son is on his own and married and has a wife, and they do their own thing. So nobody's really around much to clean up after me. So I kind of have to do that myself. So not the greatest job, but it works. All right, so I'm gonna wipe off my board again. Now, if I were doing like chicken or something like that, you guys, I wouldn't be wiping off my board. I'm getting a clean board. I'm not gonna get a clean board because of the sake of time. And like my chef's knife, there is a sheath that goes over the coated utility knife. Now I'm gonna chop up my onion. I'm only gonna use half the onion, which I'm glad. But the way that I chop my onion is pretty simple, it's pretty simple, but it's a neat trick. All right, so I've cut it in half, and if you were watching, I cut off the one end, but I left this end that kind of looks like it might have come from the stem. All right, and I'm just going to cut it this way. Now put your palm on top of your onion, and you want to kind of work it through, but be sure that your fingers and the palm of your hand are out of the way. And I like to go through twice, but you don't have to. And then I chop this way. And if you don't cut that root end that I left intact, then you don't cry as much, which I think is a great thing. So I'm really glad that I learned how to chop an onion this way. Okay. Now my dogs are getting in on the action here. They don't want to be left out. I'll show you another great little trick with our cutting boards. Let me just make that a little bit finer. Chop there. All right. So with these cutting boards, it's really cool because they can be picked up and you can use it as kind of like a funnel. So they're flexible. And guess what else? They are dishwasher safe, which is, again, another plus. All right, so I'll set that out of the way. And I'm going to show you now the garlic press, okay? So this to me is just one of the most awesome tools. Now, I had a bulb of garlic. All I did was break off one little clove. You see that I still have the peeling intact and all of that. I'm going to just pop it in just like it is into my garlic press. Now you do have to have a little bit of muscle here. And most of the time I'm okay. But just pop it right into your bowl. I hope that you could see all of that yumminess coming right out. It comes with this great little cleaning tool, but I often use it just like this. I just scrape out the garlic off the press. And then what you're left with is that peeling that's so hard to pull off before you actually mince your garlic. So there it is, and I can just throw that away. And all done with that. All right. Now, let me show you real quickly before I leave this though. This tool becomes great for cleanup. You can push it in this way, you can push it in this way. It goes right into the little holes to get everything out. So it's really nice. And then for convenience of storage, the little brush just snaps onto the handle. So it's a great little tool. All right. I'm going to chop just a little bit of jalapeno. I'm going to take out my coated utility knife again. And I typically would cut off this end, but because I want just a part of it, I'm not. I'm just going to cut down one side, and I'm going to leave that end intact where the stem is and just cut that out. And it just makes it so much easier to me when I have fewer seeds to cut out. And I'm not a pro exactly at cutting jalapeno, but I do okay thanks to my knives. Now, I don't want any seeds in my guac because the seeds make it a lot hotter. So if you don't want super, super hot, then make sure that you do not leave any seeds in your food. I don't know if you know this or not. Little tip for you. If you're making stuffed jalapenos, which in my family we like hot, at least most of us. Now my daughter has a sweet tongue, but we could overcome that sometimes. Make her try hot things. But anyway, for those who have a spicy tongue or like spicy food though, this stuffing jalapenos is great. But if you have somebody like my daughter who doesn't really like spicy, just leave her jalapeno either on the grill or in the oven for a little while longer, because the longer you cook it, the milder the jalapeno gets. So there's a little tip for you. I hope you like that one. Now this jalapeno was actually on the large side. So as I'm looking at this, I think I may not use it all. Even though I only cut about half the jalapeno, I'm seriously thinking that I'm only going to use a part of this. But not to worry, I have other things I can use it for. Let's see. I think I will. Yeah. Okay. So just put about half that in there. I don't want to scorch anybody. And so many things have multiple uses that I'm just going to use the lid to my silicone prep bowl, and we're going to save that jalapeno for later. Okay, not the intended purpose for that lid, but it worked. All right, and on to cilantro. I love, love, love cilantro. I think in my past life I must have, no, I don't actually believe in past lives. But anyway, I think once I tasted cilantro, the wannabe Mexican in me came out, or at least Hispanic, I'm not sure. And that is not meant to be an insult at all. That is to tell you, those of you who are of Hispanic descent or Latina descent, Latin descent, excuse me, I have a fond appreciation for wherever you come from who uses this kind of stuff and cooks. Now this is the herb stripper, and what it does, you put the herbs in it and close it up, and it's supposed to strip it of the leaves. Now I managed to get one leaf off, but I probably didn't put it in the right one. So let me try this one again. There we go. A little bit better that time. All right, I only need 1/4 cup. Now, because in my guac, I don't mind the stems, I'm gonna just use my utility knife again, and I'm just gonna cut up some of this, kind of a rough chop, because like I said, I don't mind the stems. And you can roll it and get a finer cut as you're cutting it. Like I said, this is a preference. You could also use the chopper, which I don't have with me. But I kind of like just using the knife and just kind of doing a coarse chop with the cilantro, because when I get cilantro in my mouth, I want to know what's in my mouth. I like it. Some folks say that cilantro has a soapy taste to it. I've never felt that way. All right, now I'm going to use my Measure All mini measuring cup, and I'm just going to make sure that I have 1/4 cup here. It looks like I do. The cool thing about this measuring cup is that you can actually measure liquids on one side and solids on the other, or like I'm doing now with the herbs. So that looks to me about 1/4 cup. I'm just going to put that in my batter bowl. Okay, and we'll move that cilantro out of the way and wipe off again. Let's see. Okay, and then finally, we have to add a little bit of salt. This is to taste, but remember that I didn't put my other avocado in, so I've actually got to go back and cut that up. But I just kind of wanted you to see how yummy this looks, even though I haven't yet put in the last of the avocado. All right, so what I will do from this point is I will put it in the fridge and let those flavors meld nicely. And if you wanted it, like I said, a little bit coarser chop, or maybe more like mashed, then you could definitely put it in our manual food processor. All right, let me show that to you. So this is our manual food processor, and it's super, super simple. I'm just going to show you with a couple of tomatoes. If you drop in the tomatoes, and then you simply put the lid on and you press it. And according to how many times you press it, you see the chop gets finer and finer as we go. Pretty cool, huh? The beauty of this is that when you pop the lid off, you just literally have to rinse this. And this, you take the blades out and it becomes a storage container. Then once you've finished eating all the yumminess inside, these two items, along with the lid, can be popped right in the dishwasher. So that's really, really cool. All right, that's it for me. I've worked up a sweat. I'm gonna go and stick my guac in the refrigerator, and then I'll enjoy it later today with some chips. All right, enjoy. Thank you.